Hugh, my friend, thank you for being here today. This is Burn the Ship podcast where we talk to entrepreneurs that we want to learn from, be more like about what they do in their day to day in their business, what they do, how they do it, why they do it. So, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and your business?
Thanks, Bailey. It's great to be with you today. Um, my name's Hugh Massie, and as we were just saying, I'm originally from Australia, but came to Atlanta 16, 17 years ago and set up DNA Behavior. And we are a more of a unique company that we're in the field of human behavior and money. Some people in the financial world call that behavioral finance, but we help people understand how they make decisions, want to communicate, what roles they should have, how they deal with money. And, a big thing that we work on is what is a person's identity and how they shape up in the world. And from there, how they're going to make decisions and grow.
Right.
A lot of our clients are in the wealth management arena. So, we work with financial advisors, family offices, banks in helping them, the advisors improve themselves, but also improving the client relationship. So we work with the clients. And then we have a lot of work that we do in sort of more organizational development areas.
Sure. And are you working with like the HR department of a company? Are you working with the salespeople? Or are you working with all of those people? Or
we would work with all of those, but if we go into a wealth management firm, it tends to be the person that runs wealth management, a practice manager type person. It becomes about the wealth management process is often where it starts. If we work more with a corporate, it would be starting off with probably the head of people culture, or it could be a leader of a division that we start with.
Sure.
HR tends to be a bit more functional, whereas we're onto the people and administrative, we're more onto the people development side. So that's usually coming from a leader that wants to develop their people and enhance their interactions with their clients or customers.
Sure. Sure. So tell me, what is a problem that you might identify that would make a company a good prospect for you? Or is that something that company kind of identifies themselves and says, we need to seek out the services of Hugh?
Usually a lot of the problems come down to communication. So for example, a wealth management firm who uses our services, their advisors are not connecting well enough with their clients, or they wish to acquire more clients. And a lot of the time it comes down to communication, understanding how the person on the other side of the table ticks. From a leadership perspective, at the end of the day, the way I sort of look at the holy grail of leadership being and this is really true of any setting, how do you manage the differences between people? Because the differences between people are what cause the roadblocks to decision making, to productivity. And so when you get a leader that's wanting to understand the different people on their team, how to work with them, interact with them, get the best out of them to grow them, in a way what we call know, engage, and grow, that's where we step in. So that's because we're in the field of human behavior. We have diagnostic type systems,
Sure,
to uncover how each person ticks. It's a very objective process. So normally it's a leader that wants to know more about how their employees are wired and how their clients are wired, so that they can know, engage, and grow them.
sure. What are some of the tools that you use? I'm assuming like some disc assessment type stuff. What all do
They're
you
our
use?
own systems.
Oh, really? Proprietary. Wow.
Yeah, so we have our own proprietary systems that we built. We scientifically validated them, and that's what gets deployed. And again, the key differential of ours, maybe against the competitors out there, is that we have the financial behavior component. So firms use StrengthsFinder, DISC, Myers-Briggs, Predictive Index, Culture Index. There's 3,000 plus of those tools out there that are looking at someone's talent or strengths in some way. We do that with our business DNA system. But on top of that, we're more focused on the financial behavior element, because what we've found is that how someone is motivated by money, what kinds of financial choices they would make, influence a lot of behaviors. And so that's where, if you said we are more the king in that area.
So is that what you look to improve? Like, what is the first step in diagnosing kind of the direction that you want to take some of these clients as you kind of walk in there having these acquisition or customer success issues? And the first thing you diagnose is kind of the spending habits or the relationship that the reps have with money?
The first thing that we actually look at is actually what their talents are. Who they are as a person is the first step. And then the second step is how they deal with money, what the relationship to money is. And overlaid with all of that is we're looking at their identity. How do they want to show up in the world? How are they, operating as a unique human being? What's their impact?
Right.
But the money component's tied in there. If we look at a leader of a business, a lot of businesses succeed or fail because of the leader's relationship to money as well. So that's a key component. So it's really both, Bailey, talents and the money behavior. Cool. that we're looking at.
So how did you learn this? What was your professional route in Australia? I'm assuming you have some background in some behavioral science, or
I would put myself as I'm a reformed accountant. So I actually started as a CPA, and after 10 years of that, I set up a wealth management business, and it was there working with the clients that I started to see different behaviors emerge when people are under pressure. And as I went through that and I was thinking about that, I also saw the same when I was a CPA. People would operate one way in a normal social setting, under pressure, making a big decision, or an event takes place, some different behaviors would jump out. And that's what I wanted to know. And that's what we today call, a person's natural hardwired behavior. And it really comes from their, some part of it comes from their genetics and their early life. And, up till they're 3 years old is very shaping on those behaviors. And that's why we call the company DNA behavior. And when I got to understand that through the help of a organizational psychologist, I realized that was the missing piece for wealth management, for dealing with high net worth families, really for dealing with any investor. So I deployed it in my own wealth management business, and it was very successful for helping those clients. And I decided, after more work with it, that I wanted to be my day job. And that's when I came to America to build it out more. We got the whole system validated at two universities here in Atlanta, and I've just gone from there. So that's where the shifts come, because it's also about my personal passion, and I had a knack for seeing how someone, the types of financial choices that someone wanted and needed to make, but also who they were as a person, and getting the alignment right on that. I could see that out of the person. If someone wants to set goals, it's not just a linear thing of, we'll go from A to B in X time frame. There's the person's life journey in there. There's who they are in there. And that's where I really had a gift of being able to unravel that and help the person get alignment.
Right. And so are all of your clients here in America?
No, not all the clients. The bigger part of our clients are in the United States, but we have clients in Canada, Australia, South Africa, Hong Kong, England. The systems have been used in 123 countries and 11 languages to date. Wow! But the majority, a good part of the business is in the United States, Canada, Australia as well. We have clients, and gradually, step by step, we're spreading it out as time goes along. Technology has been a good friend to us in enabling us to do that.
Sure. What does your team look like?
So we have 50 people on our team, which is
Wow.
made up of executives. We have some software developers, support staff. That's the core team. And then in addition to that, we have, I suppose if you want to call it, consultants that use the systems on a day in, day out basis with their clients. It underpins their businesses. And we have some distributors that have teams as well.
Wow. Wow. Very intricate organization. So tell me, as you entered America you understood your business, you understood the science you're going, how does that validation process work?
Yeah, so the validation process is really putting, is looking at the system from a scientific perspective to say that when people answer our questions, so to get to your DNA style, you need to spend 10 and a half minutes online. That's the average, answering 46 questions that are very uniquely structured, choosing between words. There's 3 words, single words. You've got to choose most and least like, leave one out. That takes 10 and a half minutes. Now we ran samples of people through that, benchmarked them against other surveys, also retested them in the system. So there's a whole scientific process that you go through. And we then had independent consultants, independent of our business, validate the outcomes. They use, if we want to call it engineers type software,
Right.
to test the reliability of what we were coming up with. So we have a very high reliability factor in our system that's measured using known scientific processes. But
Sure.
it really comes down to, the accuracy comes down to the questionnaire, right data in, right data out. People try to build assessment tools, but they don't understand the construction of the questions. And that's very important to driving the outcomes that you want to get.
Sure.
And it's not something you can do overnight. It takes some time. This taken years.
How many surveys do you think that you guys did? How many people did you run through the system before you were at that point of like actual validity?
You can get believe it or not, you can get a minimum validity on, if you know what you're doing, on 300 people, but it was probably more when we passed 100,000 that we actually knew this really works. And because we could see that, but the same results came out for the first 300 as they did for the next
99,000,
100,000.
Yeah.
But remember, in the building process, we had done a lot of profiles. So it was really 300 that we used in the final sampling that was used for the initial statistical review. But we had done, a lot ahead of that. So we knew what was working and didn't work. And then we did another 100,000 or so that proved it up. And now we run 1 million people a year through the system, and it's extremely reliable and stable.
Wow. And what is that end result that they get? Like if I go through the system, 10 and a half minutes, 46 questions, what do I get when I'm done?
Yeah. So you can go online to dnabehavior.com or financialdna.com or businessdna.com. So if any listener to this wants to go and do a trial, they can go in online, and if they answer the questions, they're going to get back 2 reports. There's going to be one that's 1 page long that's going to tell them about their work talents, and a second one about their financial behavior. Now, that's what you get for a free trial. If you are a subscriber to our system or are asking for coaching or wealth mentoring help, then there are additional sets of reports. But the 1-page reports are going to give you key information about how you spend, take risks, set goals, how you wish to be communicated with, basic, key things that are what's important to you. So we've found that for a consumer, that's it's very understandable language. It's not psychometric gobbledygook that they're getting back. It's easy to understand and it's actionable. The power comes, though, that the facilitators get more data. We tended to build this into other software systems where a whole lot of insights come in that are relevant to how that software system operates. That's really when the power comes to this, by doing API data connections to other systems.
What type of systems?
So, for example, financial planning software.
Oh, okay.
Robotic.
Okay.
All
those wealth
investment platforms,
yeah.
Salesforce, CRM, Charles Schwab type systems, hiring platforms. You would use it.
Sure. Wow. That's very interesting. I know some people in that game as well that have built some proprietary HR platforms and things like that you might want to discuss that with as well. They have some pretty large clients and a good relationship with Career Builder. That would probably be a pretty decent introduction.
I know Career Builder.
Yeah. Do you know Brad Park?
No. Well, I know of the company. I don't know all the people inside there.
So Brad Park owns HR Starters. They started out as Applicant Starters, applicant tracking system, and developed a bunch of HR products on top of that and recoined themselves HR Starters. They're right in your neck of the woods, actually. He's like Paces Ferry area. They did business out of Buckhead and Atlantic Village for a long time, and because of the COVID, they don't really do that anymore. They work more remotely, but very strong organization. It's been a partner organization for us for a long time. Be happy to make an introduction for you. I think he's probably someone you're looking to because he's making all those introductions in all the same places. So, and all of those integrations are done for him. So,
yeah, that would be good.
Cool. Yeah, I can do that. I'll tell you, it's very interesting. It makes me want to. I'm gonna go do a test. You're gonna do your test too?
Go and do your own and see a bit more. And I'm happy to chat to you about it, Bailey. But yeah, it's
maybe I'll tell everybody.
Do you get like a grade? Field. I think we've been growing the business, but we're also, as I said at the start, we're probably quite niche with it in a sense, in a way, in some of the applications that we come up with.
Sure. Do you get like a grade? Or is it just some word
you
feedback?
Get told where you are against. You get told the strength of your behavior against the rest of the population, but you don't get told, are you a good boy or a bad boy type thing.
Do you get like a percentile?
Yeah, you get put into percentile. So you'd know, okay, I'm 98% more of a risk taker than the rest of the population, or I'm 68% more relational. That's going to give you, the strength of what that score really shows you is your strength of your behavior relative to other people and what your leaning would be. And, we have hiring reports in there. We would, people can see, okay, I'd be better suited to this type of career path than another type of career path.
Sure. So that is interesting. I definitely want to take you up on that and do some of the stuff and then revisit that with you. Reintroduce that idea with you. I'm curious as well. I kind of wanted to ask about entrepreneurship in America. As you came over here, how much experience did you have with the entrepreneurship space in America? Are you surprised by what you found? Are you excited about it?
I had no experience with the American entrepreneur space. I came with a suitcase and just got on airplanes and traveled around, and in a way, it was rubbing two sticks together and hoping to make a fire. That's what people in the outback of Australia do, and you hope that something catches on. That was really it. But what I did know that America is a pretty welcoming country to people with ideas, whether they are from America or outside America. There's plenty of foreigners that come here and done okay. It's not like you can just walk in and there's gold bars under the pavement of the street. You have to work at it, but it's here for the taking if you want to. I don't think there's been any surprises to me about the entrepreneurial community or market. I think the American markets are big, and I think one of the things is that you can get lost in that, and that's probably a trap for many people, thinking that they're going to conquer it all, whereas it's more important perhaps to be niche and build yourself up out of that. And not try and be an elephant right out the gate. Again, it depends on the industry you're in and what you're trying to do. But so that would be my assessment of it. I think technology helps these days, but you've still got to be heard amongst all the noise that's out there.
Sure. Sure. And do you run across any surprises now in business? What is still developing and changing for you in your business? I know as an entrepreneur that game never really changes. So what do you revise now in your business? What are some of the things that you guys throw back and forth when you're talking about those, KPIs for your business and things that you guys are looking at?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. I think it's from a marketing sense is probably where the key area. It's keeping ourselves. So what we've worked on harder is keeping ourselves narrowed down a lot so that we are seen as different in the market that we operate in. And, I suppose it's really looking at how can you be a niche player, but still build $100 million or more business out of that niche. That's really, I think, how people should be thinking here. How can you be a category king in your niche? And I'm a big advocate of a book called Play Bigger. I tell every entrepreneur, every person that wants to get into entrepreneurship, set up a business, to read that book and know what business category you can be the king of. There's great stories in there from Uber onwards. The other part is, working on your identity as an entrepreneurial leader. Where are you unique and where can you have that greatest impact? I think if you have those things together, then it's just really a matter of looking at the distribution. We've built partnerships with other firms that help us move forward. So we try and concentrate on what we're 10 out of 10 at, and then partner with somebody that can complement that. And that's really the growth strategy. Going around and door knocking on every financial advisor's door, ringing every person up, that's not going to work.
Nope.
That doesn't work. That's not going to build a national market in any way. I think that people did that once upon a time, but it doesn't work. So you got to have an appeal to other people and really, I suppose it's building, Bailey, being part of a technology ecosystem, part of a network. Build your own network, be part of other people's networks. That's what's going to help you grow.
Sure.
But you've got to know what your your difference is if you're going to do that successfully.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, business friend of mine the other day that was telling me, the old people do business with people that they like, know, and trust adage. He takes that a step further and he says now, with what we experienced with COVID, it's like know, trust, and have a relationship with. It's how do you build those relationships that are going to be strategically advantageous for your business? That's what the podcast is a big portion of that for us. We create connections and hope that, one day they will come back around. That's basically what we do. So
I think what you're doing with the podcast, that's why I wanted to come, is it does help build relationships. People can see you. People can see you there. I mean, as you say, getting meetings is harder and harder. People aren't going to have random meetings anymore. And the world's changed in that, and it's probably changed permanently. It will be harder and harder. So you've got to find other ways to connect. And I think people hearing your story is important.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And that's why we took this, we want this to be a platform for other people's stories and other people's purposes, to be elevated. That's our goal here, is to create that sense and that platform. But before you go, I want you to tell us how we can find you for sure. If people want to talk to you, connect with you, whatever way, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, so thank you. The best way to find me is you can go to LinkedIn. I'm there, Hugh Massie. I'm in LinkedIn. Or you can go onto our website at dnabehavior.com and check it out, and that'll link you to the other websites that we have, and any of the listeners or viewers can see what we've got to offer there. I recently launched a book called Leadership Behavior DNA. That's available online at Amazon if anyone wants to read it. There's another book out there called Financial DNA as well. So I think there's plenty of ways to reach and find me. There are various podcasts out there and these types of interviews. So That's the great thing about technology. There's lots of platforms now.
Sure. Much more exposure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that I'll make that introduction for you that I was telling you about. I hope that our network takes the advantage to get to know somebody really awesome in business. You taught me a lot, and I'm very interested. I think we'll have our office run through a couple of DNA behavior tests and see.
Yeah, well, I'd be delighted if you guys go in online to just go to the public link that I mentioned at on our websites. You'll see free trial. Do them, and then I'll circle back around with you and take you through your paces as a complimentary exercise for putting me on your platform.
Cool. I can do that. Thanks. I appreciate that. I appreciate the idea. Don't tell me, how bad my scores are though once you see them.
Bailey, we've all got great strengths. Go and leverage them, and keep building your identity.
Yep, we're figuring it out. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I look forward to reconnecting for sure. Thank you. I appreciate the resources.
That's a pleasure. We'll stay in touch. Thanks a lot, Bailey.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.